Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting episode of Wine Down with Kev. We always like to begin with an attitude of gratitude. So thank you, and you for taking time out of your busy day, whether you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, you are appreciated. Special thanks to all of you that have already subscribed and hit the notification button. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And special thanks to our sponsor, B-File Systems. It doesn't happen without you. So for all of my business people out there, if you're looking for a way to automate your renewal contact process, click on B-File Systems. You'll see their logo throughout the presentation on the bottom here. Well, that being said, super excited for the guest that we are going to bring to you today. We are in our AI world. We're having a conversation about AI. Our whole theme for this season is how are smart businesses using AI strategically. And today I have a fabulous guest to present to you. So without any further delay, please welcome to the stage my fellow certified AI consultant, Sarah Skoronsky. Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Kevin. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So by way of introduction, you and I are both certified AI consultants by way of Alicia Little
Yes.
and AI Innovisions, but our paths are a little bit different. Talk to me about your path to becoming a certified AI consultant after many years in HR.
Yeah. So I have been doing human resources for over 25 years. 12 years ago, I actually started my own HR consulting firm focused on helping small businesses, companies with 20 or less employees who can't afford to have HR, but get in as much trouble as everybody else does when it comes to having employees. Um,
Absolutely.
Definitely. And but before I ever got into HR, I've always had this kind of tech curiosity. And so early on when I started my business, and starting your own business, you realize how much you need help to kind of keep things moving. And I leaned into no code work, no code automations and different ways to streamline my business. And about 2 years ago, I decided, I really enjoy that. Sometimes I'm having more fun doing that than I am doing the HR work. And when I was really ready to dive into being a no code consultant, I looked up and realized AI was taking over no code consulting.
Yes.
And so I started looking into it. I took a couple of the classes with Alicia Little and her group, and saw that there was so much more of a bridge between AI and HR than there ever was with no code consulting and HR. And recognized that being able to help companies get on this very fast moving train called AI,
Yes.
something I could do because you need to learn the systems, and training is something I enjoy doing, but you also need to govern them. You need to know how your employees are using AI, how they are, what information is being put into them. Is there shadow AI being used? Who's using it? What are they doing? And how can you actually use AI to do your work better? Not to replace employees, but to get the most out of your employees, so they're not just sitting there, copying and pasting documents. They're actually doing the work you're paying them to do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you had so much in the opening statement. I want to go forward, but I want to go backwards. I could hide and say, for by definition for my audience, but truthfully, it's for me. Before we go into the AI, help me understand no code consulting automation. What do we mean exactly when we say no code?
Yeah, so I started with Zapier. So basically
Yes.
taking a tool like Zapier, Make, N8N, and connecting systems together so that they would talk to each other. and so that they would automatically do things. So a lot of times it was pulling information from email into my database, or pulling information, or automatically sending out a notification when something was due. So creating those kind of automations, and they could, those are the simple ones. They could get much more elaborate than that, but really taking that, again, the mundane, the repetitive tasks, and automating them. One of the things I found out early on and was frequently struggling with is that would break a lot. Those would break. You have to monitor that as much as you have to enjoy the automation of doing it, because all of a sudden it stops and you're like, wait, what happened? Why am I not getting that email anymore?
That was scheduled. I know it was scheduled.
I know
How
it was
did it
scheduled.
happen?
I was supposed to get that.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it. One of the things I love about your company in this AI first world, a part of your brand is people first. Talk
Yeah.
about that piece when so many people are concerned about it's going to replace us. Talk about the importance of your business being people first, using AI as opposed to being afraid of AI as a replacement.
Yeah. I actually just wrote an article about this on for LinkedIn. It is, AI has allowed me as a professional to show my best self. And so one example was, I deal with companies that have to terminate people all the time. I have to, I would coach them on that, but I'm going, I'm trying to keep my business going. I have the next problem I have to deal with. And so I give them some information, and I give them like a cheat sheet maybe, and I move on. But I recently had an experience where I had to do that same thing, but because I was able to use my note taker and have the conversation with the manager and understand what was going on, I understood. And these aren't things I didn't understand before, but I just didn't have the time to really address them. So I understood things like how concerned she was for the employees because it was a layoff, how
Okay.
nervous she was because she was a new manager. She had never
Yes.
had to terminate people. And so I was able to put all of this information in to Claude, which is what I'm using right now. And it produced scripts for her. It produced the documents for her. And when I looked at the amount of work that was, that would have taken me 6 to 8 hours to do. I would have been up all night trying to create something of that caliber.
I
It was all
love
my
it.
information. It was in stuff I knew, but I was able to present to her something that was polished. She felt comfortable. She felt very confident in doing the terminations and having that conversation with her staff. And that's what I mean by people first. It magnified what I could do. It made me look better as a consultant, as an HR practitioner. And I think that's where people get hung up, is that they think, oh, it's a new technology, I'm going to get left behind. It's like, well, you are if you don't adapt to it. But if you embrace it, you could actually go so much further than what you're doing now.
I love that you said that not only did you help your client, you mentioned that you saved the time. So I like to use the terms um, AI first systems. Save yourself time, energy, and money. And saving 6 to 8 hours is an incredible use case. You said something as well that I think should really be a source of encouragement for people that are AI adverse or just, dipping one toe in the water. You said AI has allowed you to become the best version of yourself, to even meet the best version of yourself. Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that being able to present this information in a way that was consumable, being able to pull that information, being able to help multiple clients within a day, instead of, toiling over one document or one client work that normally would take me all day, that now takes me an hour. And so then I can do it. I feel confident. I feel better than some of the other things that I've presented in the past that were, again, they were fine. They were competent work, but this is polished. This looks good. This is this is, kind of the next level of things. And so I feel good now presenting this information out because it's how I've always wanted to do it, but never had the
Yes.
time and capacity to do it.
Game changer.
Game
Um,
changer.
I'm trying not to go here yet. I want to talk about tech stacks later. So let me see if I
Oh.
can discipline myself not to ask about Claude and finished products. We're in the same place.
Yep.
So, Sarah, you came up through HR roles at New Century Mortgage and Bay Equity. Mortgage in the finance world, very similar, very adjacent to my insurance world. My background
Mhm.
is I've been in the insurance industry forever.
Yep.
Compliance is a massive concern.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
uh, Privacy issues, insurance of personally identifiable information.
Yeah.
How have you translated that in the small businesses that you help? Are they in the financial sectors, the mortgage, insurance, real estate? Is that some of your sweet spots?
Um, Not specifically. I have worked with those clients, but I do have a number of people that are in health care. So there's a lot of PHI in that.
Mhm.
A lot of people who are um, dealing with different ways with confidential information. And in general, most of my clients, the direct clients, are the owners of the company. So
Yes.
everything that they're working with is, their IP, their financial data, their all of their knowledge that they have, and how is that being secured in the system. So very, very big importance in the work that I'm doing.
I love the fact your inside background in senior leadership and speaking the language and understanding the risks of improper compliance and the rewards of doing it the right way to protect that data. Because let's face it, all business owners we're good at, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that's necessary with being a business owner that we
They don't
do
want to do it.
because we have to do it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your HR space specifically. Rarely have I had the pleasure to speak to someone who's had a long career in HR and then pivots into entrepreneurship. But your business solves a problem that most entrepreneurs did not get into business to do. So just
Exactly.
talk about that, the relief that you give the business owners. They're great at health or mortgages or
Mhm.
whatever it might be, but then they have this HR component hanging over their head. So talk about your work in that space and how you help business owners that really are concerned and just don't know what to do in this space.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times, unfortunately, they come to me because there's a problem. They're either ready to fire somebody, or they got a letter from the DOL or the EDD in California or whatever the state agency is, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. And as we start to unpack all of that, they're doing things based on what seems right. They're trying to benefit the employees while still keeping the company going. And unfortunately, in a lot of states, the laws are stacked against small business owners.
Yes.
And really understanding that is really important for the business owners. And one of the places that I worked as a in-house HR was a small staffing company. We had 20 employees. We had 200 people out on site as a temporary staff, but I worked directly with the owners who were entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And in that, I got the opportunity to understand, develop my HR skills, but also watch how to lead and manage a company. So I understood that you had to juggle. I remember sitting in a conversation with one of the owners, and he wanted to pivot again on something that we had just put in place to manage an employee. And I was like, you can't do this. You need to give them more time. And he said, Sarah, we are entrepreneurs. We need to shift on a dime.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that has always stuck with me, and they are part of the reason I was inspired to even go out on my own. But I also think that a lot of HR people have this tunnel vision of, you have to follow the rules. These are the rules. This is what you have to do. And I try to look at it from that holistic of, okay, yes, these are the rules, Let me make sure you understand what the rules are, and let's talk about what you're trying to do to minimize the risk. Because the rules are the rules,
Yes.
but we want to make sure that people understand how to do their work with their employees in the best way possible, um, not in spite of the rules, but adjacent to the rules. So
Adjacent. You want to comply and you want to run a profitable business at the same time.
exactly.
Speaking of running a profitable business, the one line that jumped out at me off of your website, you cut a client's onboarding time by 70% using automation. I'm just leaving a 3-day top producers conference, and we were talking about AI and how it does it. But more
Yep.
specifically, how did you do that specifically? 70%, my entrepreneur audience, my insurance agency owner audience, they're going to embrace you knowing that you can do that. But talk to me about that.
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I say this with everything with automation and AI, is when you have a workflow, if the workflow is working, then you can automate it and make it faster. But if the
Mhm.
workflow is not working, then you're going to automate it and you're going to get nowhere faster. And so it really is taking that step back and really making sure that all of those steps are dialed in and you have exactly what you want, and spending the it can take somewhere from 10 to 40, 50 hours up front to really make sure that process is dialed in. But
Mhm.
once it is, all you have to do is put it into the systems, and all of the friction points where you were waiting for somebody, or it's a repetitive task, or there's a bottleneck because the business owner is the one that has to approve it all or has to write it, or whatever that is, that can all be automated now with AI, using your voice, using your commands, using your structure, and it's just eliminating the friction on a really good workflow.
Sarah, let's talk about it. You must have been in South Carolina with me the last few days because friction is a new word that was introduced into our jargon. So, how? Let's go to the deep end of the pool for a second.
Yep.
How does AI help both identify and remove that friction so you can see where the bottlenecks are?
Excuse me. I use something, you talked about tech stack. I use something called Whisper Flow, and I will
Okay.
literally have a 15-minute conversation with AI where I go back and forth and I say, "This is my process. This is what I do," and it will start to um, document what that process is, and it gives me the opportunity to go back through it and to see, oh wait, no, that's not right, that's not where I did that, or that's or have the conversation with it of where are places that could be cleaned up, what is the process that needs to be cleaned up, what is the purpose of doing this, maybe that was part of the process 5 years ago because we needed to do it, but do we still need to do that, are we even still using that system, and being able to just have a conversation. Again, this is after I've trained it and after I've made sure that it understands my business, my tone, my functions, but being able to do that deep dive with it, where it is my coach, it is the one
Yes.
saying, this is what I'm seeing, this is where you say you want to be, this is what I see as the friction points, these are the things I can do, these are the things you have to do. It's really having that conversation with it so that it's helping me develop that clean, slick workflow, without the friction points.
I love it. There's a lot to unpack here. First, whisper flow.
Yeah.
Conceptually, I get it, but it's new to me. Is it
Mhm.
whisper flow AI? You didn't use the word dictate like you're just talking. Use the word conversation. So when you're describing the process, when we hire them, we give them payroll paperwork, we give them
Mhm.
benefits, we go over PTO. You described all of the steps. Is whisper flow, double question, is whisper flow an AI tool? And secondly, when you're describing it, is it conversational AI and that is talking back to you and asking you for clarity if there's any place where you're not clear.
Yeah. So WhisperFlow is a dictation, and so it is a one way. What I really like about WhisperFlow over some of the other dictation tools is that it starts to learn your patterns. So I can go in and put people's names in it, and it'll automatically make sure that they're spelled correctly. It also will format the content. So if I'm doing a bullet list, it will go in and do the bullet list. If I'm stuttering while I'm talking, it cleans that up. So it's actually a clean transcript versus my meanderings of thought, which I have a lot of.
We all have them. It's very natural.
Right? So it takes care of that. I know that because Claude is my primary tool that I've been using, I know on the desktop, I think they do have that conversation option now, but they don't have that on the regular chat where you can actually talk back and forth, which is something you can do on ChatGPT. Honestly, I have found that uses a lot more memory and a lot more of your usage or your token. And so if I'm going to have a long conversation, I just can't afford to do that. I'm already on the max plan with Claude. I can't afford to go over that time. So I find it's just as easy to dictate, have that in there, and then read its response. But I know that there's options where it can be more interactive.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about Claude and chat. I'm on stage yesterday speaking about AI, and people are asking me. And because I have such a warm relationship with chat, and I started there, and like you, I'm using Claude fairly heavily. I haven't abandoned chat, but you said something earlier, which I thank God for the discipline not to dive in then. You talked about having a polished and finished product for your clients when you use Claude. Expand on that.
So I did take the deep dive from chat to Claude, and I had built out a lot of things in chat, but I was finding that Claude could it when it writes as me, I can see myself in the writing. With chat, there were a lot of the kind of the markers of the AI markers of the lists and the short paragraphs and
Sarah, this is the greatest writing, the greatest thing we've ever heard. You're the best. No one's ever thought of this before. You're amazing.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the kudos, all of that. Yeah. So it was I remember when I first started using Claude, I was actually using ChatGPT as for a personal journal, and I would put the personal journal in, and then I would drop it into Claude and say, okay, now I want you to be my no nonsense coach. And it would kind of be like, okay, you need to cut out all of this, what, and get back to work and do that. But the more I started to use Claude, the more I just recognized that it was I could train it better. I don't know if it's just, again, I always equate all of the AIs as being in this sort of horse race and everybody's kind of neck and neck, and one will pull forward, like, Gemini shot out with the images, but now I use ChatGPT for images more. And Claude I use for content and actual writing. But Claude, when it comes to understanding me, I've been able to build in my brand identity, my personal identity. I actually built out a chief of staff for myself that is much more of a person that sits next to me and says, you need to do this next, you need to do this next, have you taken a break, this is not your wheelhouse, this is not how you think, you need to back up. And I did that by actually putting in things like my Myers-Briggs and my Colby assessment and my DISC assessment. So it actually knows how I think. And it's when I say, hey, I saw this great new tool, it's like, hey, this is a shiny object. You need to get back to work.
Yes, 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 yes. You're not in the business of making music videos. Michael
Right?
Jackson's trending, but that's not a part of your HR
Not what
AI
that's not what we need to get
consulting.
done today.
So it's I love that you said that. There are so many AI tools. We're
Yeah.
consultants, but part of the discipline is staying focused with what works for us and what's best
Yeah.
for our clients.
Yeah.
So talk about your tech stack. You meet a small business owner tomorrow. What's in your
Mhm.
5 tech stack? We're just talking fluently here. You're
Yeah.
mentioning, I'm hearing the name of everything, but what's your audit, your assessment of a new business? What's in your first 3 to 5 tools tech stack that you're going to use really to assess a business before you begin the HR work with them?
Um, so the stack I use, I mean, I definitely use note takers. So Fathom I use for video. I also use Granola, which is just a dictation um, where, and I sometimes I feel like I have all of these note takers going on at the same time, but I use them for different things. So,
Yes, yes.
and important part is different things connect with different tools. So like Claude connects directly to Granola, but it doesn't connect directly to Fathom. So I want to have the video, but I want Claude to be able to grab that information as soon as I'm done with a call. So I use those tools. I use ChatGPT for images. Um, but I probably spend 80 to 90% of my time in Claude directly, working with it either in Cowork, which is a desktop app, so it can actually go in. I've done one of the horrifyingly boring jobs of my work is to do an employee file audit, and so we take all of the files that a company has for their employees, we review them all, we make sure they have all the required documents. Cowork was able to actually not only review the documents, but it was able to take a chunk of a PDF, separate it out, rename it, and put it in the right files. So it took something that normally would take us weeks and weeks of kind of fitting it in between because nobody really liked to do it, and it did it in an hour.
So let's unpack that. Let's unpack that for the AI novice, right?
Yes.
The person that when they think of files, they picture the doctor's office or the 2 file drawer next to them. So going
Yep.
through files in another workforce that you and I entered many years ago meant physically going through the files, the
Yep.
application, the favorable reviews, the write-ups when it didn't go well, and you're, beating up your cubicles, you're organizing it in the right way.
Yep.
So the large language model of AI, allowing it to read, organize, point out what's missing. That's I see the value that you give to a business, especially businesses that have changed so much in the past 5 to 6 years. That's a
Yeah.
huge value that you offer. So, Sarah, come into my world a little bit.
Mhm.
My Most of my peers and clients I consult with, they're insurance agencies owners,
Okay.
maybe 4 to 8 employees. They dread onboarding. It takes a long time. And when
Yep.
you speak of hiring, the things I'm thinking about today,
Hmm.
proper onboarding,
Hmm.
checklists, feedback. You're doing well consistently, or you're missing the mark, conversations before review. Talk
Yeah.
about the advice that you would give to a business owner that hasn't done all the right steps. And I'm emotional today, so I want to terminate, but I haven't done any of the steps. I've given no feedback. Talk about some of the conversations you have and how AI is assisting with that process.
Yeah. So I have, I mean, a lot of that is human. A lot of it is, understanding where they're going. I have actually built some applications for the conversation part of it. I have an HR coach application that I offer to my clients where it's built so that they can talk about, they can put in what's going on, what the backstory is, what, not just, hey, this person is late all the time, but hey, they're late all the time and they said that they are taking care of their sick mother or something like that, and so it can understand some of the nuance, and then it can actually role play with the person to go back and forth and have that conversation and allow the manager to have some of those difficult conversations while still being clear and then giving feedback in real time for that. So that's one of the tools that I've built for my clients to use. And that's sort of, if I can't get to you, here's something to
in real time to use. So if you think of E-Myth Revisited, right? The person that makes the apple pie is really good at apple pies.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want the issues that come with growth.
Right.
All small business owners are the same. Again, I'm going to invite you into my world. Many insurance agency owners were great staff people. They're great at sales.
Yeah.
But the difficult conversation, Sarah, we vibed on the podcast. I thought you'd be fabulous here, but it's not going the way I expected. HR role play, wow. I've built sales role play. I've built service role play. I have not fathomed that thought of helping that new agency owner with that HR conversation of the tough feedback. That's a fabulous tool, and I think it translates to any business.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the things that is it's so important for people to understand. And I've sat in on so many conversations where people dance around the topic and they don't actually say what they need to say. And to have something give you the feedback of like, still need to be kind, but you need to be direct. You need to let them know this is what's going on. And this is why they need to, what exactly they need to change.
No, I love it. You said a couple of things. Training the voice. How much do business owners appreciate it when you tell them that you're not just coming with a tech stack to change their business, where you're going to teach it their voice? You're going to explain this is a second generation business. It's a third generation business, and we have to maintain the integrity. How much do they appreciate it when you hold their hand and let them know that your offering as an HR consultant is not going to be generic? It's going to be their business, their voice, and it's going to write as you and speak as you and protect you.
I think that is really important. I think that's where a lot of any external consultants can run into issues with working with a company is, again, you go back to what you said about people started off just baking the pie and now they have this business, but they don't want to lose how fabulous their pie is. They don't want to lose, the love that they put into their pie. And as consultants, sometimes we can come in and railroad and be like, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to fix it. And suddenly they disconnect from why they were making the pie.
Yes.
And so being able to come in and say, give me your story. Tell me about why you started this. Tell me what's important. Tell me what's going on. And being able to feed that into AI. So when I'm giving them advice, I'm looking at it through that lens. I'm looking at it from that place of, okay, this is most likely where they're coming from this decision. How can we frame this? One, so that they will hear it, and two, so that they can give that feedback to their employee.
I love it, and really tell the nature of the business. Okay, we're gonna start our descent into it. A couple of things I didn't ask you yet. Two-time author. Tell me the title of your book, the impetus for your books.
I'm not an author yet. Did I say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm writing a book. I'm in the process of writing a book, but it is not on the shelves yet. But it is going to be about small business embracing AI and going from chaos to clarity. So,
chaos to clarity. I love it. Well, by the time this drops, people may be able to find your book. Sarah, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn and Sarah Skoronsky or EOS HR Consulting. And you can also find us on the web at eoshr.com.
I love it. I love it. Funny story. When I saw EOS, I assumed that you
Mm,
were associated with EOS, but I
right?
found that the origin of EOS is different. Talk about the origin of the name EOS.
Yes. Yes. I did not know about EOS until about a year after I had started my business and had that name. Eos is the goddess of the dawn and the hope of a brand new day. And I think, part of it was when I left my corporate job, I was very burnt out and just needed something new. And so it spoke to me, but then I felt like it was also speaking to the people I was helping of, you don't have to be afraid of HR. You don't have to be afraid of your employees. You We can work through this together and give you the hope of a brand new day.
I love it. So, Sarah, we're going to land another two-part question.
Yep.
Um, Give a commercial plug for yourself. The first plug is to the small business owner who just doesn't know where to begin with AI. Everyone's talking about AI, but no one is showing him how to use it. Speak to that business owner first. And then, second, I'm going to ask you to speak to the business owner that's using Chat GPT for fun and games, but really needs your services from an HR standpoint.
Yeah, thank you. So, from the AI standpoint, I actually do work with small businesses. I do something called a clarity call, an AI clarity call, where we look at what the business does, what they are, where the bottlenecks are, what are the functions, what are some of those workflows, and then we meet with them and go through an AI opportunity scanner where we look at some of the low hanging fruit where we can actually build out opportunities to actually build out some AI services and workflows. And then I follow that up with a roadmap of how they can shift into AI gear in the next 30, 60, and 90 days. So that's something that I offer my clients right now and helping them to take that step into AI.
I love it.
And
I love it. Go ahead. Second
well, I was
audience,
just
the
gonna say
person
for the
that's
for the
using Chat GPT, they think they've arrived already. They got it. They're responding to emails, but that's the top of their usage level now. What do you
yeah.
say to them to let them know there's more and there's more value in working with someone like you that can save them time, energy, and money by having an HR AI consultant in their business?
Yeah. So first of all, I would warn anybody who's using ChatGPT of let's look at how you're using it. Let's look at what you're putting into it. What have you secured? What haven't you secured? How are your employees using it? I think that looking at the holistic view of how it's being used in the business, and going beyond, like you said, writing the emails, which, hey, it's great. I love it. I did that
Mhm.
this morning. It wrote about 5 emails for me in about 5 minutes. It was great. But there is so much more it can be doing for you. It can really be helping to streamline your processes, the workflows with your employees, and helping to increase the productivity for all of the employees. So there's a great opportunity to embrace AI to really take your business to the next level. And you won't need to get rid of employees, but you also won't need to hire a bunch of employees either. So,
I love it. That closes with your people first philosophy. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up? Anything else? Anything else that I would have, could have, should have asked you that you'd like to share?
um, I think you covered a lot there. So this has been great. This has been so much fun to talk to you today.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Please show some love in the comments. Give me some clap hand emojis. Give me some hearts. I hope you really enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed just talking with Sarah before. It's our first time ever meeting virtually, first conversation we've ever had, and it was wonderful. I certainly see a whole lot of use cases, and I hope you do too. That being said, let me thank you, and everyone here for tuning in to another exciting episode of Wine Down with Kev. And if you like this content, this AI conversation, about how smart businesses are using AI to grow their business, click on the link below, subscribe, hit the notification button so you can be informed when wonderful content like this comes out. So until the next time we share time, remember two things. One, we make AI easy, and stay blessed by the best. Until the next time we share time.